Régis, just going back to last weekend at Fulham, now you've obviously had the chance to look back at the game, and I know there were a few issues that you highlighted afterwards, but what are your overall thoughts? What were your not worries necessarily, but your concerns about that performance?
Yeah, I think it's part of our journey in the Premier League, and we expected a tough game against Fulham, and because they have this ability to create chances with different threats. So for example, they were really good against Arsenal a few weeks ago, so it wasn't a surprise. So we were prepared for that. We struggled just a small part of the first half, I think. Then we had a good period when we dominated the ball. We've had created too many chances, and they finished really well, maybe with more energy, using the energy of their crowd as well. So it's not a concern, just a good reminder about the level of this league.
I think that's a point worth making, is that it's there are players in this division who have the ability in a split second to do something, as did Chukwueze. That cross was world class.
Yeah, for example, and they created many chances in a short period of time, and we tested our limits. Probably we reached our limit, and we know how we can manage this part of the game differently. We have our main objectives for our next improvements.
The team's a very driven team. As individuals, they're all very ambitious and driven. Is it something that you can use to fuel them, if you like, in terms of the next game? It's that you take that defeat and take the positives from that to drive you on into the next one.
Yeah. So far we were always able to react after a defeat. So I hope it will be the case once again, because this league is like that. You'll face many strong opponents, and we are still in a new journey. So we are finding out new opponents, new scenarios, and we need these experiences to grow. And because we don't have this background, so it's a new lesson. Sometimes you can manage the problems properly. Sometimes it's not possible, but it's part of the process.
You've not made many changes or any changes in the last few weeks in the games, and it just shows you trust that group of 11 players. But you've got a 3-game week, and 2 of those games obviously against Liverpool, Manchester City. Are you minded to rotate, or is it something you just take each game as it comes?
Yeah, I think naturally, organically, it will happen for sure. So I had this conversation with the players, and I told them because we perform well, and consistency is key to develop a new squad. I think it was normal to keep the same starting 11 because of the positive outputs we had. Now, with the main course of the season, with many games in a row, in a short period of time, organically it will happen, and you'll have your opportunities to play. Get ready for that, and I think they are training well so far. So I hope they will be ready for these fixtures.
There's been a lot of debate last couple of weeks as to whether you play a 5 or a 4 at the back. But watching you, I think you're very fluid, aren't you? I mean, it's a case of think of when you're in possession, Hume drops back, or when you're in possession, Hume drops into midfield. When you're out of possession, Hume drops back. Are you very comfortable at the moment with that fluidity, that formation that you're playing?
Yeah, I think it's needed at that level. You have to be flexible, and after that, it's a question of phases and moments. Probably, if we are in a deep block, the last fixture we were comfortable with a back 5-4-1. We were able to manage the spaces to defend the box as well. We were really efficient. A bit higher when we are in a bit block. Sometimes the 5-4-1, 3-4-3 is not always efficient to press. So we tended to drop a bit. But when we were high up the pitch, we went in man for man. So in man for man, we don't have a specific structure. So the last games it worked well. We might use a 4-4-2 once again because I think now we are flexible. We have a good knowledge. So we'll see.
And Bournemouth then, a test, because a lot's been spoken about Bournemouth. They're a very, very good young team, high press, few injury concerns which might work in your favour, but clearly a very, very good coach in Uriol.
Yeah, it's a good model for us. The way they built the last 4 seasons in the Premier League is, I think it's really interesting for us, because we like this energy, we like this pressing team, this ambition in the game. They are really well organized, they are consistent in their structure, but they are doing well. In 1 point, 2 points, 3 points, they are really good, and probably it's a good example for us.
Hey Régis, I don't know if you saw Kieran Louis Dreyfus took in Marseille against Newcastle the other night. Has he brought back his scouting report on Newcastle for a couple of weeks' time, or have you spoken to him about his trip?
Yes, before the game,
Yeah.
not after. I watched the game as well, so we know Newcastle. We know, I think, the teams in the Premier League. He's really well connected with Marseille because of his background, his story. Probably was happy for that reason. I don't know. It was because of Newcastle, but because of Marseille won, and he's really well connected with this club.
Probably happy on both counts. You always talk about lessons being learned from every game you play, whether you win, lose, or draw. What lessons have you kind of been reflecting on from that Fulham game this week in the build-up to Bournemouth, would you say?
I think probably the intensity, the consistency of the intensity, because we were well organized at times with the right level of intensity, but it was inconsistent. And at that level, if the opponent pushes through the whole game with their subs, their crowd, and so on, you can't afford to have this downs, I think, and it happened. And we didn't concede a goal during these periods, but I think at the end, if you look at the danger level, it's deserved, and it wasn't 3 or 4-0 with a red card because the team gave up. It wasn't that case. So it means that even when we are not at our best, we are still at the level when we can expect something. But it wasn't enough, to be fair, to be competitive.
You mentioned to Nick there just about the possibility of rotation of the coming period, but what's the team looking like? Are there any injuries, fresh injury concerns? Or not?
No, all green. It's really interesting at the minute, which is positive because it's a good sign for the period.
Absolutely. Sam Allardyce said over the last few days that in his view, Granit Xhaka is the best 6 in the Premier League. Would you agree?
In the Premier League, we have many good players, many good midfielders. I think for us, we're really happy to have a player like Granit. His level on the pitch, his standards, the way he leads as well. So it's a perfect fit for our squad at the minute. Yeah.
I just want to ask you about one more player. We sat down with Reinildo earlier on this week, and he really opened up about his journey from Mozambique, from growing up in quite poor in Mozambique, and now realising his dream of being in the Premier League. How good is it to have a person, not a person like Reinildo, who has come through a journey like that and realised his dream and is so humble about realising his dream?
Yeah, and his career is really good.
Yeah.
Different experiences in France, in Spain as well. So we have big energy, a big desire to play in this club, in this league, and we have a strong background as well. So another useful player for the squad.
Just finally, just on what mentioned to Nick there, the kind of what they've done over the last 4 or 5 years that Sunderland can kind of look at. Have Bournemouth come up in conversations in terms of the Sunderland project, of looking at them as a blueprint of a side that have got promoted, stayed up, and then thrived in later seasons?
Yeah, I think every club has its own journey, but the recruitment, the way they build their squad with the style of play as well, I think is really similar to what we want to do here, because it fits with the region, with the club, with the history of Sunderland as well. So it's always interesting to analyze, to assess what happened when it worked and what happened when it didn't work. And here we have a good example.
Thanks, Régis.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. You talked about this being the main course of the season, and when you've got Bournemouth Liverpool, Man City on the horizon, the derby. Is it exhausting trying to prepare when you've got so much kind of on your plate coming up?
No, we go step by step because we don't have to look too far. It could be scared. So no, just at a minute we want to prepare properly this game, and with the consistency of the work behind the scenes for the coaching staff, for the players, and do your best now, and we'll see just later what will happen.
And for you as a manager, when you have, we've said Bournemouth's been a great blueprint to the club that comes up from the Championship. You've got title winners in Liverpool, Manchester City, different challenges on the horizon. Is that what you live for as a manager, trying to solve all these different problems and making your team compete?
Yeah, it's always I take it positively because I think we want to live this kind of fixture against the best teams in the world. So if you start the game without your strength, without your desire, without your mission, I think it's not fair with the way we are living our job, and probably it's more than a job, it's a passion. So excited. At the same time, we know that the challenge will be big. But I think we need definitely this kind of challenges to grow, and we can fail. It's possible because so far we worked well. We have at the minute 19 points, which is positive. We might struggle at times. It's possible, but every new game is a new challenge, a new opportunity to win 3 points, 1 point, and if it's not possible, just learn and move on. We are working like that.
Just a quick one from you, Régis. Stadium Light yesterday has been so important to you so far this season. And locally, how much have you gained from that, and the whole crowd, and helping make that start in the Premier League?
Yeah, I think it's really important, and you can feel it. We spoke about Marseille, Newcastle, for example. When you can feel that Marseille use this energy of their crowd to create, to generate momentum, and probably Newcastle didn't have this energy from their crowd, even because the stadium is big and you can't feel the same level of connection. So for us here at home, we have this advantage, and I think it's really massive because our fans, our stadium are really useful for that. So far it worked well, but it's a combination. We have to start from ourselves, give the energy, press, play your best football, at least with the best energy as possible. Sometimes it's not possible to be at your best, technically or tactically. But if you are really well connected with this ambition, I think the combination is really useful for the output of the game.